Okay, so there are going to be other instances where you're not going to have a factory notched out balance replacement notch, or you're not going to have you're not going to be able to use your jam spreaders, such as this in this scenario. In this scenario, the balance track opening is too narrow for the jam spreaders to fit into. You know, I mean, geez, it's just about a 1/16 of an inch too wide, but there's no way I can force these in there, so I'm not going to try. What do you do in that case? Well, what you're going to do is remember, you're going to tilt the window in, making sure that it's cleared the you got about 3-inch clearance here. You're going to twist the sash, take the sash out, set it to the side. Then you're going to again release the tension on the balances, or the the one that's working, by turning it a quarter of a turn, then raising it up, quarter of a turn, raising it up. And when we're going to use the heat gun, we're going to just go ahead and remove this screw right now. We're going to knock this bad boy down. So now when you do this, the method I'm using right now, you can see I've got gloves on. It's because I'm going to use the heat gun. The heat gun I've got right now, it's just a Porter cable heat gun. I think I got this at Lowe's. It's a variable speed and variable temperature heat gun. I used this for years and I like it a lot. It really doesn't matter. You're going to go off of common sense, essentially. There are many people that don't like to use a heat gun, or they're just scared of using a heat gun. They've heard horror stories of melting someone's vinyl windows, or they just don't even want to attempt it. And I can understand that. But what I would tell you is just use your patience, work at a lower setting to get started until you're comfortable with the process, and then you can ramp it up and get done with it quicker. Now, with this window here, this is a double hung window, meaning that both the bottom sash moves up and the top sash moves down. I don't like using a heat gun for a top sash of a double hung window, and the reason being is because this window is going to have a full screen track on the exterior, and when you're replacing it, you're using a heat gun on the exterior track. It's easy to bend this, and it's harder to get it back into shape. Can you do it? Certainly, not a problem. It just takes more time. So I have another technique that I'll show later on. That's just cutting out the balances. But what I'm going to do right now, after I've got the balance to the bottom and everything is ready, I'm going to just turn this bad boy on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take care not to leave the heat gun in any one place too long. I'm going to keep it moving back and forth. And I'm going to use sight, touch, but also smell. Now when you start doing this, you can actually start smelling the vinyl heat up a little bit. I don't know, it smells kind of sweet. I don't know, like popcorn. I'm sure you do this too long, you're going to get cancer, but I don't plan on doing this too long. So I'm just going to move it back and forth, up and down, back and forth. And even at this short period of time, you can see it's already becoming very pliable, okay? So what you want to do beforehand is you want to get your replacement balance ready, and you want to get the tools that you're going to need. So of course, always use gloves. I mean, the vinyl's kind of like glass. You have no idea how hot it is until you touch it. So I'm going to get ready, and I'm going to get my needle nose pliers ready. So right now, I can touch it, and I can see that, yes, it's very pliable. Still not quite there yet. A couple more seconds. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the needle nose pliers on the balance, and I'm just going to pull it right out. Let's give it a shot right now, see what happens. Boom, pulled it right out, no problem. Now, if I was ready to rock and roll, I would just go ahead and get my my replacement balance ready. I would insert it, making sure to use the needle nose pliers again, and then I would just reinstall it. Now, this just be just a little bit more tricky, and of course, on this video, it's not going to work with me, but Let me install this here. I'm sure I could do a couple more takes or be a better video editor. But you know what? This is actually a real world scenario. So what's going to happen is now this is not as pliable. And I'll just show you right now the things that people are worried about. They're worried that as the vinyl cools, and they're worried about using this technique because they're going to see that the vinyl is going to end up all warped. And this is what they're worried about, you know, that it's going to just be, it's just going to be like this. It's going to end up warped. And that, you know, I guess that's a concern if you had never done it before, but I've done it, you know, several times, and it's not a concern of mine because I know that all I have to do is just warm that vinyl back up. Now, vinyl has a memory. It's not a perfect memory, but it has a memory in that it's going to go back to its original shape and form. I just got to warm it up. So as I move it back and forth, I don't know if you can tell, but it's starting to go back. Now, when I watch this back over, I'm probably going to see that I've blocked the view. But right now, it's almost back to its original shape. I just got to heat it up. So please excuse the production quality, and I'm not a pro at this. This is my third video. So now it's very pliable. Now I just got to make sure, turn everything off. I get this ready to go. I'm going to use two hands this time. Get this bad boy. Get this, turn it on this side. I'll turn this around. There you go. Now it's in. Now I'm going to heat this back up, and it's going to go back to its original shape. Now, like again, I said it's got a memory, but it doesn't have a perfect memory. And what I mean by that is that when you look at this window from the straight on, from the inside looking out, you know, you can see that it's lined up here perfectly, and it's lined up here perfectly. Well, you're just going to use that as a guide, and you're going to help mold this vinyl back to its original shape. So as it's cooling, so I'm warming it up, I'm kind of moving it back to its shape. I can look down the vinyl and see that, you know, if it's bowed out any. But right now it's warmed up pretty good. I'm going to leave it just like that. Now, if this was messed up at all, I'm just going to raise and lower the top sash, and I'm going to make sure that the top sash balance, groove or channel is going to work itself out with the top, with the balance in the top sash. And then we'll look at this. Okay, it's out just a tiny bit. I got my gloves on, and as it's cooling, I'm just going to rub it back and forth. I just want it. I mean, I can clearly see exactly where it needs to go using the top and the bottom of the vinyl window as a reference. Look at it from the side. Okay, it's going to push it out, push it in just a tiny bit. And again, I mean, if it wasn't 100% perfect, that's fine. I would just warm it up just a little bit and, you know, mess with the vinyl again. But right now, the way I'm going to check it is I'm going to put my balance up and down and see if it slides evenly in the track, and it does. Okay. So at this point, I'm just going to raise it, reinstall the screw, and then I'm going to be done. Let's just do that right now. Always make sure you don't over tighten the screw. But even if you did, not a big deal. You could just lower it 1/4 of an inch, put a new opening in it. Not a big deal whatsoever. So there you go. I'll lower this, and now I can put the new sash in, and I'm done.